All right, guys. So welcome to the review episode of the Left Side View. And unfortunately, it's only me again today. Amitabh is again not available, but let's not waste time. Let's dive right into the action. So today, there's nothing much to talk about except the Boxing Day matches in the Premier League. So let's begin and let's start with Chelsea's match away to Aston Villa. On paper, it looked a difficult match. Uh, Ever since Steven Gerrard joined Aston Villa, he has only lost two matches, and those two matches were against Liverpool and Manchester City. So, because of the considerable gap that has developed in recent weeks between Chelsea and Liverpool and Manchester City, this was a difficult fixture on paper. But just a day before this match was supposed to take place, Steven Gerrard was tested positive for COVID, and he was not really in the dugout for this match. So it was his assistant who led the team, and Chelsea had some of the players back from injury and COVID, but yes, at the same time, not like Tuchel, not a lot of them were fully fit or fit enough to start or maybe play 90 minutes. But yeah, a lot of the players were back. Uh, Even someone like Romelu Lukaku was on the bench. We'll talk about him more later. So yes, the game started. It was actually a very even game. Aston Villa pressing Chelsea high with uh, their attacking lineup of Buendia, Ollie Watkins, and Danny Ings. But in the 31st minute, it was actually their left back Matt Target who tried to cross the ball into Chelsea's area, but that ball was touched by Reece James, the right back, and it went into Chelsea's net for an own goal. And that looked like, it could be like that, but it was not to be. Uh, Callum Hudson-Odoi was fouled later by Matty Cash, the right back, and Chelsea got a penalty, and it was none other than Jorginho who converted from the spot to make it 1-all, which is how it stayed uh, till 45 minutes till the first half. And once the first half got over, second half started. Thomas Tuchel brought on Romelu Lukaku, um, and he did that for Trevor Chalobah. So Christian Pulisic, who was actually playing as a false nine, now moved to a wing back. Once that happened, Chelsea started really well. They actually scored a second goal, and it was none other than the returning Romelu Lukaku. It really looked like he was up for this game. You could clearly see the frustration on his face because his last goal actually came against Aston Villa. That was more than 3 months ago. In those 3 months, he has not been able to score. Some because he just was not able to score, and in some uh, moments he didn't play because of injury, because of COVID. So you could see that he really wanted to score in this match. But then another injury to Chelsea. Uh, Thiago Silva, the 37-year-old Thiago Silva, pulled his hamstring, and then he also had to be substituted. Andrea Christensen came on for him, and when it looked like Aston Villa were increasing the pressure and would score an equalizer, in the end, Romelu Lukaku took matters again in his own hands, and he went and made a run, uh, and again had to be fouled in the penalty area. This time it was Ezri Konsa who fouled him, and Chelsea got another penalty, which was same person, same result. Jorginho, another penalty, another goal, and with that, he is the highest scoring player in terms of penalties in a calendar year. So he has scored 10 penalties in a calendar year, and till now the record was nine, which was by Matt Letizia and one more player, I'm not sure. But yes, he is clear at the top now with 10 penalties scored in a calendar year. So yes, Chelsea needed to win this game in order to stay in contention because Manchester City had already managed to win before this match started. That's what we'll talk about next. So yes, they needed to stay behind within 6 points of the leaders, Manchester City, who then had to play Leicester City. what do you say about Manchester City, man? They just keep rolling. They were 4-0 up, 4-0 up within 25 minutes, and that's how the first half ended. But then, as soon as the second half started, I guess maybe something that Brendan Rodgers said or something that he did that lit a fire inside Leicester City. You could actually think that there was a comeback that was actually on. Leicester made it 4-1, then they made it 4-2, then they made it 4-3. But just as the case, with Leicester, just as the case with Brendan Rodgers sides, they always get close, but not able to get the job done. Like their match against Liverpool, wherein they led 3-1, but eventually, in the end, it ended 3-all. Even in this game, as soon as it became 4-3, they just couldn't cross the finish line. Aymeric Laporte scored, made it 5-3, and then Raheem Sterling scored another to make it 6-3, which is why let's talk a little bit about Brendan Rodgers now. I do feel like initially he was linked, uh, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in Manchester United, he was linked with the Manchester United job. So it's because of these performances that he's not an elite level manager. He's just too inconsistent to be a top level manager. There are managers who are good, and there are managers who, when they're not doing well or when their teams are not doing well, they still don't make it too bad for them or their sides. But with Brendan Rodgers, if it's good, it's great. But when it's bad, it's very bad. And that's the thing, these performances, it just seems like has. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be too overly critical, because it's Manchester City, but then they've had these results this season. Uh, they lost 3-0 at home to Chelsea, and again, it didn't really seem like it was a team that finished, uh, I guess, fifth last season. So, yeah, even this season, the expectation were for Leicester to finish at least top six or maybe seventh, just outside the top six, when you take into consideration that Chelsea, City, Liverpool, even United, the money that they spent, the signing of Ronaldo for Manchester United, even Tottenham now with Antonio Conte, Arsenal spending so much money. But I'm not really sure if they can even finish seventh, or even a top half finish for them would be a great finish. Even Brendan Rodgers said this is his worst time as a manager. So yeah, now now they again have to play Liverpool in their next match. If it's not just about losing a game, they can obviously, a team like Leicester can always lose to a team like Manchester City, Manchester United, or Liverpool. What what's caught my eye, the reason why we're talking so much about Brendan Rodgers and Leicester is the manner of those defeats, and which is the reason why, in my opinion at least, he's not a top level manager. So let's see, how he does in his next match, playing Liverpool in I guess twice in 10 days. Um, so let's see where they are right now. Leicester City are 10th in the table right now on 22 points. All right, so there was Brighton versus Brentford as well. Brighton finally managed to win a game. They managed to beat Brentford 2-0. This was Brentford's, I think, second game since the COVID outbreak, the first in the EFL Cup against Chelsea, and the first game in the Premier League. Now, there was another interesting stat that I read that in their last 11 matches, Brighton had not managed to win a single game. It was either a loss or a draw. And if they had dropped points in this match, then their next match would be against Chelsea. And we've always seen that teams who are not on a winning streak, all of a sudden they play Chelsea and they put out their best performance, at least in a good way. They managed to get this win, so they can maybe again go back to being Brighton in their next match against Chelsea. Um, all right, so we've talked about. Uh, let's talk about two more matches, rather three more matches. There was another match which was West Ham versus Southampton. West Ham again, not really sure what's happened to their form. I mean, obviously a lot of injuries, and on top of that, when you take into account that they don't really have a big squad, So even two or three players injured makes a lot of difference to their squad. They were playing Southampton. Southampton manager Ralph Hasenhüttl already under so much pressure because of the form that they are in right now. So yes, I think he did manage to ease up a little bit of the pressure. Uh, Southampton beat West Ham 3-2 away from home. I wanted Armando Broja to score, but yeah, he didn't score. But still, Southampton at least uh, they will pick up points. It's like that. You will see, maybe next game they lose so badly, but then after that they win a game like this. So it's like that. They're just not gonna be able to perform consistently. Let's talk about Tottenham versus Crystal Palace now. Tottenham managed to beat Crystal Palace 3-0. Crystal Palace, again, like Aston Villa, they were also without their manager, Patrick Vieira, who had tested positive for COVID. Uh, Now, in the reverse fixture, Crystal Palace actually had managed to beat Tottenham Hotspur 3-0. At that point in time, Tottenham's manager was Nuno Espirito Santo. Now, in that match, Tottenham had a player sent off, which was Eric Dyer. And now in the reverse fixture, uh, Tottenham, Crystal Palace actually had a man sent off, Wilfred Zaha, for two yellow cards. So once obviously that happens, and that too, when that happens, also makes a lot of difference. So in this uh, match, Crystal Palace's Wilfred Zaha was actually sent off within the first half for two yellow cards. And once that happens, there can only be one winner almost like 90% of the times, which is what the which is what was the case in this match. Uh, Tottenham already 1-0 up, now playing against 10 men as well. That just put the game beyond doubt. Just go two more goals. Tottenham under Conte slowly and steadily climbing up the table. They are already fifth. Just imagine they are already fifth, and they still have three games in hand. So if they win those three games, they will be only 3 points behind third place Chelsea. All right, so the last match that happened was actually Arsenal's game away to Norwich. Norwich, I'm not really sure. I think they're probably going to go down, irrespective of who they sign in January. Uh, you just can't, play that kind of. You just can't give away so many goals week in week out and still expect to stay in the Premier League. You just can't, especially when you play a team like Arsenal, who, as much as I hate to say it, are just flying so high right now. Like they've found this balance. Still no Aubameyang. Everyone is like they've got this consistency because they don't have any Europe, so they only play one match a week. But then uh, players have had the time to recuperate, recover. The manager has had the time to implement his ideas. Um, what more can you say about Arsenal right now? I mean, again, Emil Smith Rowe didn't start again, but again came off the bench and again scored. So I think I read a stat that he has the most number of goals coming off the bench this season. That's three. Bukayo Saka, he's just 19 or 20, still scoring goals like fun. Doesn't I mean Arsenal again, like I said, they're already fourth, and yeah, just 6 points behind Chelsea on who are on third. Let's talk about the game that's tonight, which is Manchester United's match away to Newcastle. The reverse match finished 4-1 to Manchester United. I think it was Cristiano Ronaldo's first match or first start for United, and he scored in that game. But yes, this is a little different than that match because United have not really played a game since their 1-0 victory over Norwich City. And obviously, Newcastle have a different manager. Back then it was Steve Bruce, now it's Eddie Howe. So let's see who plays for Manchester United, what kind of a team to put out, how fit those players are. But yes, on paper, Manchester United away to Newcastle under new manager Ralph Ragnick really had to see anything other than a Manchester United win. Yeah, so we are recording this before this match has taken place, but yes, we will be back with a preview of the midweek matches in the Premier League as well, guys. All right, thank you. Cheers.